welcome back to episode 2 of the big one. We are gonna get started right away here after just slightly altering the last satellite that was launched. We need to make some money and upgrade these facilities so that we can make some rockets that are a little more impressive. This, I believe, is going into a reverse orbit, decently far out off the surface, but still not high enough to be geostationary. I'm just looking for a more equatorial launch site here, and I'm going to settle on something, I think, in East Africa. And she's off. I'm of course pretty confident in this launch vehicle after the last episode, so that's why I reused it. I just wanted to get some quick easy money and not have to think. And this setup does launch for about 17 grand or 18 grand, so it's pretty cheap, even as far as the early rockets are concerned. That, of course, is the sunset, but since we're going to be going the opposite way it's spinning, that is now a sunrise for us. It's a little interesting thing to think about there. Setting the relative rotation to Earth, just that way I can don't have to turn as much. My ship's gonna turn with the curve of the planet. Maintaining the time to apoapsis and the apoapsis height for circular injection. The next stage, of course, still has to start under some G-forces. Just at the very last second, there it is. Still don't know why this thing has a torque when it detaches the upper stage, but whatever, the RCS is able to overpower it, so it's okay. I'm just really trying to keep this injection circularized. I do have a lot of relights in that final stage, but it's best to keep in the habit of doing it. Besides, I'd rather take every single last drop of fuel out of this bottom stage. Figuring how much I can dump, and there, that's all I'm gonna risk it with. So to do that, I just lined up with my prograde and let persistent rotation take me the halfway around. One little tap, now that bottom stage is gonna go back in the atmosphere. Detach, and boom, now that final satellite is in orbit again. One more close pass, this time of course not following the prograde line, so you can stay lined up relative to Earth. And now here I'm just trying to eyeball a high, my apoapsis I want to line up with one of those ascending or descending nodes, and then I'll be able to do a more efficient inclination change right at the spot where my orbit intersects it. Definitely should have hid the heads-up display for that flyaway there. That's okay. So right here I am just getting her stable and then quickly finding out that the RCS thrusters are way too weak to do my change for me. So again, I had 15 engine lights in this thing. I think I still have 13 left as of this moment, so I'm gonna go ahead and fire them up. Of course, I was time accelerating and didn't quick save it, and I went a little too far, but that's okay. It wasn't that bad. So now I'm past the apoapsis, so I'm going to go right back around once, up to the apoapsis again, and circularize. And hopefully I will be right dead square with my target orbit, and it is. Ta-da! Here we go, we're going to take one more satellite launch. We had 2 to pick from, or 3 to pick from, I guess. I wasn't going to take the geostationary because it's way too difficult for how little it was going to pay me. So I was going to take the moon satellite over it. Of course, we know that this launch vehicle is capable of bringing a satellite to the moon, because that's what we did at the end of the last episode. So, same one again. This time we're going in an eastbound launch. Again, I'm trying to raise my apoapsis high enough that I'm not going to hit the atmosphere circularizing. Good enough. I don't want to push it too much further up. And I now have enough time for my next stage to get going. Again, you want to time it right at the last second, get every last bit of fuel out, deal with that torque from whatever the hell is causing it. And I think, yeah, I took her a little too wide, so I'm just trying to get myself falling again, and then bring my bring my apoapsis down by passing the point which I'm at the peak, and then slowly holding radially out to lower the apoapsis. There we go, circularized. I'm again. Oh yeah, this is the first time I can actually eye this out with maneuver nodes. So I'm just seeing what it's going to look like. I probably could have guesstimated pretty good, but figured I'd use the tools I had. And there we go, dump all the last remaining fuel out of this stage, wind ourselves up. figured I'd play her safe. So we're gonna go back or out to the apoapsis. Again, using the follow prograde line trick with persistent rotation. Little tap, that'll put it screaming back into the atmosphere. Detach. And a little tap from that engine, that'll bring the satellite safely above the atmosphere. Look at that. Now I can plan my ejection burn, and I was a little sloppy, so I'm gonna have to come wide, but that's okay. I'm going into a reversed orbit anyway, and this thing's gonna have backup fuel for maneuvers when it's there. The benefit to splitting your burns like this is you can get more precision and less waste on steering against your prograde. Just warping up carefully to the lines so it doesn't... Sometimes when you time warp through spheres of influence, it'll change your orbit. This thing does not have a heck of a lot of spare fuel, so I didn't want that to happen. I'm going to keep my apoapsis high on the first pass so that I can take advantage of the slow velocity away from the moon and get a more efficient inclination change. And now that I'm pretty much lined up, I was thinking I was going to take max use of efficiency, but then I realized that was an extra burn and I was only saving like 10 meters a second of fuel, so I just went right for the birth burn. This thing, the solar panels on this thing will not track the sun, so I have to keep it lined up. Otherwise it could very well run out of power on the way to and from, or to the moon. It can last 48 hours or so on battery power alone, so even while scanning. And it's only going to be about a 5-hour orbit or something like along those lines, so it'll never have a chance to die, as long as the one of the 4 solar panels is facing the sun. The thrust-to-weight ratio is incredibly high here, so little taps are very extreme. And even though I was just about dead on, I had to get my apoapsis and periapsis to flip sides for it to count towards the mission parameters. So a slow warp around the moon. Followed by a tiny little RCS thruster boost. There we go, mission accomplished. Time for the big finale. I'm now feeling confident about launching an orbiter to the moon. And I think I'm going to let the music take it from here, and I will do the rest of the comments with annotations. Look at that monster.